It's kind of funny because my camera gives me this lovely little countdown before it starts recording. So of course I start making all sorts of goofy faces, and then right before it happens I go, gotta look cool in the light. So, as a further continuation of Super Happy Everyday Carry 2, or Super Awesome, or whatever stupid file name I put it as. Again, it's going to be a private, meaning the link will only be shared with LMI, um, which meaning unless you guys share it beyond that, no one will be able to see it. So comment if you'd like or anything like that. One thing I forgot is stuff on your wrists. I always wear a 550 cord bracelet. This is actually made by Sear. Some of you guys know what I'm talking about. Some of you guys don't. If you don't, ask me. I'm not going to, yell and scream about them. But here's the coolest part about that. Yep, little itty bitty handcuff key molded right into the buckle. Most people will fail to see the relevance of this. However, police, law enforcement, and different things like that, one of the coolest things about it is it means that you can't get stuck with your own cuffs if you're in a shit situation. Shit situation, bad guy says go cuff yourself. You're like, yeah, okay, whatever. Click, click. Behind your back, whatever. You can undo the buckle, snap the key off, twist it out, and you're safe. Now back to my wallet. The reason why I stopped and did another one is mainly because my wallet is its own little survival kit in a pouch. First off, this is a Maxpedition Spartan wallet. I pretty much live by Maxpedition stuff. I have a lot of their bags. I have a bullet from somewhere. I have a lot of their bags. They're very, very tough. I want to say it's just about everything they do is 2000 denier nylon. Most of them have Velcro and Molly loops and all sorts of Tactigay nonsense. But at the end of the day, they're great bags. Great bags, great gear, great stuff. They will stand up to just about anything. I've washed mine probably 40 times, and it's still just under as stiff as when I bought it. So it is really, really hard to use. Hard to use gear, I think, is their tagline, which they stand up hands down. Yes, I smoke like a chimney. Shush. So I know some of you guys went, "Aw, smoker." Yeah, whatever. You guys drink and do dumb shit too. Just saying. Average everyday wallet has a bunch of little Velcro over pouches for your ID and different things like that. It has a couple little slide-in pouches. I mean, you can put all kinds of crap and cards and whatnot in here. One of the things I did was I took one of the same, polymer or whatever the hell, plastic handcuff keys, put it on a paper clip, took a little piece of the individual strands that come out of a piece of 550 cord, tied it off, burned it off, and tied it around the thing. So, one, I have a paper clip. I grew up with MacGyver, so I'm sorry, I watched the man basically build a nuclear bomb out of a piece of chewing gum, a paper clip, and a piece of tin foil. So I'm a big fan of having stuff around that you can use for multiple things. Paper clips can be used for a million different things. I've used paper clips in a car to replace a blown fuse. Won't last very long, but I'll tell you what, if the difference is you have lights or your car won't start or different things like that, if you can jumper a paper clip over it, guess what? Again, it's the reason why, and I can get into car bags and different things like that, because my car bags are I'm basically prepped in any of my vehicles for the end of the world. It really kind of hurts. So I've got that. I also have what's known as an exit card. Again, Sear, you most likely won't be able to gain access to them because that's their exit cards are listed amongst their government, law enforcement, military only. So the military guys might be able to gain access to it. I don't know what credentials they require from you. I had to give them my state license for private security fugitive recovery, and that led me to gain access to some of the better equipment. Now, and I'll take you out and I'll show you it, but I'm not going to rip the little freaking seal off because they're kind of a pain in the ass. This is an exit card. It's literally like one of those little goofy swipe cards you have for keys. And that's my cat. If you see the light going on and off, it's not some crazy stuff. I have a sensor light, so whenever my cat goes by, the lights turn on and off because I'm away from the house all the time. So it's really cool to have the cat running around and lights randomly turning on and off in different rooms. So it makes it appear like people are home. What this has inside, it has a nice little handcuff shim. It also has two flat Bogota style, which if you know what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm talking about, which I'll get to those. I have those in here too. Two flat Bogota style lock picks, a little ceramic blade, which, I mean, the ceramic blade's only about that big, but I'll tell you what, if you don't have anything that cuts and that's all you've got, you know, it will be very, very useful. And it's all in this nice little, you know, itty bitty card. Again, because I have another like swipe type card, and I used to have them on like a little clip. I actually had an HID proximity card. What I would do is set the two together. They're both the exact same size, exact same dimensions. The plug hole's in the same spot, and even the cover looks like in the exact same spot. Rubber band around it. I like purple rubber bands because everyone's like, why do you have a purple? It kind of draws attention to it, which draws attention away from it at the same point. Kind of a nice little misdirection because they're like, oh, purple rubber band, that can't be anything important, because if it was something important, you'd be trying to hide it. See how that works? So I used to have it on a little clip, and I'd clip it on my thing, and, you know, I have a buddy of mine that works in a hospital. I will not say which buddy or which hospital. However, part of his wedding present for him and his fiance are going to be two of these, because we're teaching her to be dangerous as well. And it's one of the things he can actually carry in the hospital because he does have a swipe card for it as well. And it's completely unassuming. You know, something he can carry around and nobody will notice. And if he ever gets into a scenario because he works in a hospital, he can't carry his firearm, he can't carry any weapons. He can't obviously carry any weapons. However, he's surrounded by, you know, needles and scalpels and different things like that, which we've already discussed, him and I, how to get around those things. But, you know, he will have one of those as well, and that's one of those goofy things where you never know what situation you get into because they don't allow people to conceal carry in a hospital. You could definitely run into a situation like they had in a movie theater. They consistently, like I live in Toledo, Ohio, they've consistently had issues where their armed security has kind of dropped the ball and had to get between two rival gang members in a gang shooting. You know, one of them was in the hospital, one of them was laying in the morgue, and one of the rival gangs decided to take that fight to the hospital. So that's happened a couple times. And those can be very scary situations. You know, so in situations like that, you definitely want to have everything that you can have at your disposal, which is how I found out about the Tough Pen and a couple other things, because he carries one of those as well. Hey, you know, in a split second, if a guy knows you don't have anything and you're in scrubs, if you can pull a pen off and hit him in the neck, guess what? Not going to have such a nice day. So, and moving on. I want to say behind everything. Maybe not. Well, two business cards. Let's see. I kind of stuff everything in here to make it easy to hide, easy to miss. Most people won't dig through every little pocket and piece like this. So, you know, but again, if they don't take your wallet and they just take, you know, if you're in a situation where they don't take your wallet, they just crush your cell phone, you give me 3 minutes and I'll have a couple other tools and toys, as you can see. This is what I mean by a Bogota style lockpick set. And they're two very, very small lockpicks. You got a little 3-prong rake and a little single point rake. The ends double over as tensioners, and those I keep in my wallet as well because they're easier to get out. Yes, it's overkill. Yes, I have 2 sets of lockpicks in my wallet, but hey, should the opportunity ever arise, and I have actually used these, not in any emergency situations, but I did, you know, I was a locksmith for about 5 years, and it is definitely a fun skill to know. So it's one of those other little things like, hey, you know, oh God, I wish we could get in. You know, I totally locked my keys inside. Flip out the wallet, pull out the lockpicks. Yeah, sure, got it, no problem. You know, A, impress your friends. B, you know, never be unresourceful, and all that crap. All this crap back in. One of the other things I have in my wallet that is pretty much invaluable, I got it from countycomm.com, CONTYCOMM.com. They have all sorts of little goofy gadgets and gizmos and stuff. It's actually a really cool website. It's basically a fold-out razor blade. It's nice and thin. Again, I hide it in my wallet. I carry my wallet on me everywhere, so it's definitely not uncomfortable to dick around with, but it is a razor blade on demand. You can shave with it if you'd like. You can clip your toenails, do whatever you want to do, but again, you know, in a pinch, if I've got this and my aggressor doesn't know it and they're giving me enough time and I get the element of surprise, you're done for. Sorry about your afternoon. Which again, it's not necessarily, it doesn't always have to be in a physical, you know, or physically aggressive manner. You know, you never know when you might need to cut something in a pinch and you've either A, forgotten your handsaw at home, or B, for some odd reason you don't have most of your equipment on you. This is, you know, my wallet is something I carry on me always. So that's pretty much it. Got like 20 bucks in there too. It's a wallet. It's supposed to carry money. We'll go from there. Back to the 550 cord bracelet. One of the things I wanted to kind of point out. One, it's cool you got 550 cord. Two, everybody sees this. This either screams military support, or something like that. Can be good in a lot of ways, can be bad in a lot of ways. And I'll let you guys kind of poke that around inside of your brain. Again, with back to being overt as opposed to covert or concealed. Having one of these on your wrist is good. Having one of these on your wrist may be a bad scenario, especially, you know, given my appearance. I got a shaved head. Yeah, I got a couple of days of scruff, which doesn't necessarily scream anything one way or the other. You know, I had a couple people over the weekend. One girl looked at me and was like, "Were you in the military?" And I was like, "Yeah, why?" And I was literally in like hoodie, jeans, my hat was pulled down the whole 9 yards. She's like, "I don't know, I can just tell. It's probably how you walk." And I'm like, fuck. Now I need to walk like a hood just to, you know, just to fit in a little bit more. But people that are perceptive, that stuff will stand out. I'm sure you guys have seen it more often than anything else. The guys with basically like the 511 tuxedo. It's everything has gear and gadgets and Velcro, and you can spot these guys a mile away. And 9 times out of 10, hi puppy dog. 9 times out of 10, you can spot a cop just by the way he looks at people. You can spot a military individual the same way. You know, they all have a different stance, a different walk. So that's another thing that some of you guys, I don't know how many not so normal military people we have, or that may see this. That's something you might want to look at. Don't always wear your boots. Don't always shine your boots. I've had a pair of Cadillacs that I've had for, God, 10 years now. And I stopped shining them except for special occasions. So now they're dull and they're grimy and they got cuts in them, and you know the leather's worn out. But I'll tell you what, it blends me in a lot more. Just wandering around comfortably than anything else. Because if you got a full shine that you can shave in on your boots, that's going to scream military, law enforcement, you know, something like that. You know, wearing 511 tactical pants to work, or, you know, whether you work in a private sector job or out in the public or retail or anything like that, that screams bad juju. And I work with a guy who's part of Department of Homeland Security, and him and I sat down and I basically picked out everything he did wrong with his attire. I was like, well, your shirt's 511. And he's like, how can you tell? I took all the tags off. And I'm like, there's only 4 patterns of 511 concealed shirts. You're wearing one of them. Congratulations. You're now a cop. Even if you're not a cop, any idiot can point that out. You know, he was wearing like tan tactical assault boots for no reason. It was like a Sunday afternoon. And it was like, nice shoes. You know, what law enforcement store did you get them from? He's like, oh, I'm just breaking them in, you know, trying to wear them out. And I'm like, again, screams law enforcement. So it's a little stuff like that. You know, if you can walk around in a t-shirt, jeans, and a Tractor Supply hat, I guarantee because of the Tractor Supply hat, people will be like, oh, it's just a hillbilly. We're going to walk in the other direction. I've got a redneck camo hat with a little fish hook on it that I throw on occasionally when I go out. Because guess what? It's a redneck camo hat with a freaking fishing hook on it. I could be like, hey, y'all, how you doing? I'm from Georgia. Oh, sorry, Pat. But either way, subtle misdirection and deception. Now, my keyring. Yeah, I carry like 5 knives on me at all times. I have 5 bladed objects. I have a couple things that I can just poke you with. I normally have a thing I can shoot you with, but again, this is all just on my person. That's not even the go bag. I am the choppa. Get to me. Night eyes. Little S-beaner thing. A little carabiner goofy thing, but it's got a little bottle opener on it. Great for when you're out drinking for the most part. But, you know, it's nice, it's solid, it's not going to break. I think this is the like 15 or 20 pound, you know, pull weight, so you're really not going to lose anything. This is this I got from County Com. It's actually like a metal, what's called a mechanics key ring. Little barrel clasp on the end. Unscrew this, you know, so it's nice and easy to get your keys on and off. And of course, you know, getting them back on for a pull lock is a little difficult, so you have to give me a second. On here, basically all my keys are the same except for this. This is a Swiss Tech IntelliKey or something stupid like that. It's got 2 little itty-bitty flathead screwdriver tips. It has a Phillips screwdriver tip right there. Little itty-bitty bottle opener, in case you would like a Chinese food, because I can't talk straight. And that's a little blade. Now, I will not recommend this under any circumstances. I will, however, tell you that I have, accidentally left it on my keyring when I've walked through security at a courtroom. I had to go to court for a friend of mine who was going through a really shitty divorce and some other stuff, so I wanted to let you know that I wasn't being a criminal, not a bad guy, maybe a little bit. But I did leave that on my keyring on accident. I noticed it when it jumped in the bin, and I went, oh, God. Guy was like, yep, keys, threw it through, didn't even pay attention to it. Now, Toledo is in a super dangerous city. It wasn't like a high-profile case, and it was a municipal court. But again, I walked a blade into a courtroom. Plus, you know, little metal rope has a million different things that you can do with it as well. What the hell? Okay. Sorry, that was an alarm. I gotta turn it off. Boom. Yeah, I actually don't have a smartphone. So that's that. Plus, you guys, since it's getting cold, especially because I live in freaking Ohio, one thing I do, I got these from Gander Mountain. They come in packs of 3. They're a black and an OD green, and then one of that goofy, like, multicam wannabe pairs. They're just your average, like, the little old girl, like, stretchy gloves. And I used to do this in high school, is I would take them and I'd cut the fingers off. They look like hobo gloves. Yeah, a little weird. Most people kind of look at it kind of funny, but again, 1, they do actually keep your hands warm. 2, you don't lose tactile sensation. And that's kind of a big thing to some people. It's not so big to other people. It depends on how you train. I like to be able to physically feel what I'm touching. It helps me pick locks, manipulate firearms, and different things like that. I can and I do train with full-fingered gloves on, but as far as me randomly wandering around out in public, I would not want to wear like I use mechanics gloves for shooting. So A, they're cheap. B, they're really good. C, you can get them in all black and different other goofy colors. So this is another little thing, you know, it's like $5 for 3 pairs of them. You cut the fingers off at desired length. I've cut them all the way up to like here. Like if it gets really cold, I'll only cut like these 2 off, so I'll still have tactile sensation and these 2 fingers won't freeze to death. But that's just, you know, little goofy things that I do to kind of, you know, make things functional and still functionable and fashionable. So we're sitting at 20 minutes again. I talk forever, don't I? I appreciate you guys watching my stuff. please feel free to send me messages and comments or stuff you would or would not like to see, or questions, comments, opinions. We're a huge group of a lot of resources. Most of the guys that I talk to, Pat, Kelly, Logan, those guys, I haven't talked to most of you mainly because we're usually quiet and I got a problem with strangers. No offense. But Logan's a great resource. Pat's a great resource. Kelly's a good resource. I'm sorry, great resource. I want to make sure everybody's great. To talk guns, talk shop, talk shit, do whatever you got to do. So have fun, guys.